His Excellency Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Pakistan.
Thank you, Chair. Let me begin to thank the co-host of today, His Majesty King Abdullah II, His Excellency President Sisi, His Excellency Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and Assalamu alaikum. We are meeting at the shadows of the gravest crimes committed since the Second World War, Israel's ongoing 8 months genocide, and the military aggression in Gaza has killed more than 37,000 Palestinians, injured over 84,500, with a disproportionate number being women and children, and displacing the entire 2.3 million residents of Gaza. Excellencies, Israel has acted with complete impunity and utter disregard for international law, the UN chapter and the Charter, and the collective will of the international community. Starvation has been employed as a tool of warfare. Humanitarian supplies and life-saving assistance have been impeded. Civilian infrastructure, homes, schools, hospitals, aid convoys, and humanitarian shelters have been willfully targeted and destroyed. Until now, Israel has refused the calls by the UN General Assembly, by the UN Security Council, by the International Court of Justice, and OIC, even by his own friends and partners, to halt its massacre of innocents. Ladies and gentlemen, the brutal and indiscriminate suffering imposed by Israel on an entire population has been termed as plausible genocide by the International Court of Justice. And the present Israeli leadership has refused this two-state solution. Their objective appears to be to expel the Palestinian again from their homeland and impose a Jewish state final solution. Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan strongly and unequivocally condemns these Israeli atrocities. The government and the people of Pakistan stand in complete solidarity with their Palestinian brethren in these testing times. We have dispatched over 8 plane loads carrying over 2,000 tons of humanitarian assistance for our brethren trapped in Gaza since last October, and will continue to send these relief goods and assistance as long as required. Excellencies, like many of our fellow Muslim countries, we draw hope from the adoption of the UN Security Council Resolution 2735 last night, which welcomes the new ceasefire proposal announced on 31st of May by the juncture. We must undertake concrete steps to effectively redress the situation. 1, we must ensure the ceasefire called for by the UN Security Council is complete, durable, and unconditional. It must also halt the violence in the West Bank. Number 2, we should step up the provision of humanitarian assistance to beleaguered Palestinians in Gaza and meet their needs for food, medicines, energy, and other essential supplies. We need to enlarge our support for United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East and respond to the flash appeal issued by the UN in April. The demonization of UNRWA and the UN must be halted. All donors who have suspended support to UNRWA must reverse their decisions, and all others should enhance their assistance. Ladies and gentlemen, number 3, we must call for an embargo on all military supplies and sales to Israel. Number 4, we must ensure the immediate withdrawal of Israeli occupation forces from Gaza in accordance with Resolution 2735. We should also consider the deployment of an impartial international force for the protection of Palestinian civilians in Gaza and the West Bank. Excellencies, Pakistan proposes that a comprehensive plan for the reconstruction of Gaza should be prepared following the UN Resolution 2735. Pakistan will be happy to be partner in the reconstruction process of the educational institutions in Gaza. Excellencies, in parallel, we must work to implement the two-state solution, which has again been endorsed by the Security Council resolution. We strongly oppose any demographic or territorial change in Gaza. In this context, and as an important step, it is time to secure the immediate admission of the State of Palestine as a full member of the United Nations. This will ensure the irreversibility of the two-state solution, the only option for durable peace and security in the Holy Land. Highnesses, Excellencies, and ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan also supports the calls for an international peace conference to work out a timetable and roadmap for implementing the two-state solution. Apart from members of the Security Council, this process should include the participation of key Arab and OIC countries. Excellencies, we are at a defining moment in history. The Palestinians have endured historic injustice for almost a century. We must strive to end their sufferings. We must enable them to exercise their inalienable right to self-determination, and we must help them to live in freedom as a free, independent, and sovereign people with a state within the pre-1967 borders and a liberated Al-Quds Al-Sharif as its capital. Excellencies, as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for the term 2025-26, Pakistan will seek to advance peace, prosperity, and development in the world, particularly resolution of the long-standing conflicts, especially the Palestinian issue. I thank you all.